Okay, class, this is my third video for today, and our topic is tax on corporations. We're done with tax on individuals. We're done with tax on partnerships, estates, and trusts. So we're now on tax on corporations. So if matingala ka mo, nag-green na akong background, it's the curtain that I use para sa aton sa background ko tanay lang change ang background sa Zoom galing na-change siya biya nga ako nun to nga ako mata nalainan ako tapos ginko ako naman ng suga sa tubangan ko kay gindo ka horror kaginas ang video no ka black nga akong background no do kulang na lang may mag-sneak sa akong likod. Okay, wala na. Anyway, so let's go sa atong topic, tax on corporation. Good luck na lang ni karon kung ano niyang sound ko. Importante class mabatian niyo akong tingog. If may kakabatian ka mga background noises, i-disregard lang na dana. Importante akong tingog inyo pamatian. Okay? So pangayon lang ko sa inyo consideration sa sininga video. Kaya nga ako nga mic na low bat. So hindi man pwede nga gatakod ang charger tapos gasok-sok man ko, no? Ay ginaano ko sa sadalunggan para mag-check ko sang video if ang audio ya is okay, ginapamatian ko. Then na low bat akong mic. May ano ni siya, may do ka noise cancelling capacity pero umbot nga ang ido pagina bation pa. Siguro na set. Anyway, ginales ya lang. Nalas ya lang ang background noise. Hindi man nga gina-cancel ya. Kamahal bisang noise cancelling nga headset ka gini ko so magklase nga may nagasungsong di sa kondulungan. Nga dako-dako. Okay. Proceed to sa tax and corporations. By the way, class, I'll announce that our quiz for taxation is not offline, it's online. It's through Schoology. Okay, so I'll announce next week you'll have a quiz now about our topics tax this midterm. So we're done with taxpayers and tax bases, tax on individuals, tax on partnerships, estates, and trusts. Then today, we're done also with this topic, tax on corporations. Then I will prepare naman for fringe benefit tax and capital gains tax, maybe, no? Para tayawan sa pre-final kag final. So to start with, our topic is tax on corporation. So we have classification of corporate taxpayers. We have domestic corporation, we have resident foreign corporation, and we have non-resident foreign corporation. Nakilala nyo na ni siya sa income taxpayers and tax bases, which is our first video sa midterm. Sa sininga midterm. Okay? So we have income subject to tax and types of tax. We have for taxable income, it's subject to normal tax, gross income tax, or minimum corporate income tax. Then for passive income, subject to final tax. Then for capital gain tax. Okay? So domestic corporation, applicable income taxes. So laban-laban ang akong tsura ara na sa corner na tabunan ang income no word. So, domestic corporation and applicable income taxes for taxable income of domestic corporation. So, type of tax is normal tax. Its tax base is taxable income, tax rate of 30%. Okay? So, for its gross income tax base is gross income, tax rate is 15%. Type of tax is minimum corporate income tax base is gross income, tax rate is 2%. That's for taxable income of a domestic corporation. Take note of that. Then for its passive income, interest income on currency deposit, it's 20%. Royalties, 20%. Interest income derived by a domestic corporation from a depository bank under the expanded foreign currency deposit is 7.5%. 7.5%, 7.5%, still the same. Miss ano na sa EFCDS, we'll take that later kay may present ko tong slide later sini nga presentation. Ano na siyang EFCDS, ano na siyang interest income derived by domestic corporation no. Okay. So, basta mo nang iyang rate. And dividends received by a domestic corporation from another domestic corporation, domestic to domestic, is exempt. Okay? For passive income. So passive income, mara na naman, may natabunan na naman. So passive income shall include income derived from sources within the Philippines. So if passive income, it's only within the Philippines. And income derived by a depository bank under EFCDS from foreign currency transactions with local commercial banks and interest income from foreign currency loans granted by such depository banks under said EFCDS to residents are subject to final tax at the rate of 10%. Naglawig, miss ba? Explain ta na karon kay may drawing ta na to. Ara man na da sa papel sa copy. In drawing ko na sang gapamati ko sa reviewer ko sa Iloilo. Then any income of non-residents, whether individuals or corporations, from transactions with depository banks under the EFCDS is exempt from income tax. Income of non-residents, whether they are individuals or corporations, from transactions with depository banks under EFCDS is exempt from income tax. Take note of that. So, mani sa class ang akong ginamin. No? So, okay. We have here, ano siyang bank under the meaning sa EFCDS, di ko sa ulo. It's expanded foreign currency deposit system. Okay. Bank under EFCDS, we have here, ang ginawa kalaya is ang 10% nino. Okay, local commercial banks. May transactions with local commercial banks. Then, ang income derived by depository bank. So, they have transactions with local banks. Ang income nga gakwa ni bank under EFCDS from local banks is subject to 10% final tax. No? Mga interest income niya when it comes to foreign currency. Transactions in foreign currency, local banks subject to 10% final tax. Okay, to check no, basta iplalay-lain na akon nga gina-istorya din. Like class, kaplang init subong akon mata kay ako class ka pa kape pero pagapon na nga ko ti doadik ko subong pating itsura ko sa video no, doadik gina tanaw ko. My goodness. Sa lantaw lang ka mo sa sa slide ha, hindi sa tsura ako mag-classic kasi so very I'm so ashamed. Di ko siya pwede ma-edit. Hindi ako kabal. I have no editing skills. Kagula ko time sa pag-edit. Okay, so let me check. Income derived by a depository bank under from foreign. Yes, correct. So income derived by the bank under EFCDS now from foreign currency transactions with local banks. Okay? Subject to 10% final tax and interest nga gakakwa ni bank under EFCDS with resident individual through its loans is also subject to 10% final tax. Okay? Then, ang income derived by bank under EFCDS from non-residents, whether they are individuals or corporations, it's exempt. Okay? This sino niya si 7.5%, sino niya si X. Ang X nga nagbiya si mo. Rindisaw. Interest income derived by a domestic corporation from a depository bank under the expanded foreign currency deposit system. Ariso, 7.5. So, sino ni si X? Domestic corporation. Hindi na si X mga nagbiya si mo. Okay? So for capital gain ni domestic corporation, capital gain from sale of shares of stock not traded in the stock exchange, not over 100,000 nga capital gain, subject to 5%, and any amount in excess of 100,000 is 10%, no? Familiar? Yes, familiar. Same man siya sa capital gain to ni individual. Okay, so capital gain from sale of real property, it's still the same with the individual, 6% of gross selling price or the fair market value, whichever is higher. Okay, so special rules for special corporations that are domestic corporations. So what are these special corporations? Miss, amo ni sa ang corporations nga may blog, no? Ay special man. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so special corporations nga domestic corporations, first is the proprietary educational institution. So proprietary, nagakuha siya profit, educational, nga educational institution. So tax base is taxable income, rate is 10%. Then hospitals which are non-profit. So non-profit hospitals, basically it's our public hospitals, hospitals that are not earning profit. Tax-based taxable income, rate is 10%. Oh, taxable sila. Then government-owned and controlled corporations, the GOCCs. May sinonism yung mga GOCCs. Next slide lang tawon ta na. Pila ila tax base, pila ila rate. See next slides. Okay, let's see next slides. Okay, na klase proprietary educational institution and hospitals which are non-profit. Tax base is taxable income and the rates are 10%. Okay, for special corporations that are domestic corporations. So here, if the gross income from unrelated trade, business, or other activity or of a proprietary educational institution or non-profit hospital exceeds 50% of the total gross income derived by such educational institutions or hospitals from all sources, the tax prescribed on the ordinary corporation shall be imposed on the entire taxable income. Ano na sa miss? For example, si proprietary educational institution, di ba? Their purpose is to provide education to students, no? Muna sa yung ila primary purpose, no? Kag si hospital ya is to serve the sick and mga nagamasakit, no? Non-profit hospitals and proprietary educational institution if their gross income from unrelated trade. So kung ang ila gross income, no? Sa ila related trade, no? Wala ng income na derive nila aside sa ilang primary purpose and it's unrelated sa ilang primary purpose, no, and other activity. So may sila, may extracurricular activities paged, no, nag-exceed sa 50% of the total gross income. So they will be subjected to 30% tax, no, the same as sa rate nga gina-impose sa ordinary corporation. Muna sa. So the term unrelated trade, business, or other activity means any trade, business, or other activity, the conduct of which is not substantially related to the exercise or performance of such educational institution or hospital or its primary purpose of function. Example, may canteen sa eskwelahan. So si canteen, dako-dako, no? Dako-dako canteen sa school or sa hospital, no? So, siyempre, ginaparintahan na nila sa mga manugbaligya. So, ila na income is nag-exceed na 50% ng income sang ila operations sang canteen. Nag-exceed na 50% sa total income nila sa school or hospital. So, their gross income will be, their taxable income will be subjected to 30%. The same as the rate na ginagamit sa ordinary corporations. That's it. Okay? Gets yun na to. Then, we have here the government-owned and controlled corporations, the GOCCs. They are subject to the same tax imposed on ordinary corporations engaged in similar business or industries. If they are GOCCs, they are the same, no, with ordinary corporations except. So the following GOCCs are exempt from income tax: the GSIS, the SSS, the PhilHealth, and the local water districts. They are exempt. These are the GOCCs that are exempt. Sa inyo the note may PCSO, no? Sa note lang sa tax on corporation. But if you read, no, sa train law, wala na sa dula na sa PCSO. Maybe it's already taxable. I don't know. Wala ko kabasa updates. Pero wala na dasa sa list si PCSO. So, sa ato nibla pat ka topic, tax on individuals, tax on partnerships, estates and trusts, tax on corporations, then taxpayers and tax bases. Basahon yun man to ang train law nga notes, ang RA 10963, yes, 10963. Basahon yun na and but ko na-send ko sa inyong soft copy pag yun sang tuman iya ka PWC man to, okay. I-send ko lang liwat, no, hindi ko malipat. Sa nyo ginang train law class kay basi bala hindi tanan ma-incorporate ko de. Pero gina-check ko man, yes. Don't worry. Miss Bala. Okay? GOCCs. We're done with GOCCs. So they are taxed the same as ordinary corporation except GSIS, SSS, PhilHealth, and local water districts which are exempt from income tax. So we're done with the domestic corporations, special corporations that are domestic corporations. Let's go to resident, foreign corporation, and applicable income taxes. So in speak of resident foreign corporation, they are automatically doing business in the Philippines since they are already resident, but they are foreign corporation. So for taxable income, so normal tax basis taxable income, 30%, gross income tax basis gross income, 15%, and the MCIT, the minimum corporate income tax basis gross income, and tax rate is 2%. Okay? Okay. So rules of GIT and MCIT for domestic corporations are also applicable. Excuse. So we have your branch profit remittance tax. Any profit remitted by a branch to its head office shall be subject to a tax of 15%, which shall be based on total profits applied or earmarked for remittance without any deduction for the tax component thereof. So branch profit remittance tax rate is 15%. What is its tax base? That would be, okay, which shall be based on total profits applied or earmarked for remittance without any deduction for the tax component thereof. We will have an example for this later on. So branch profit remittance tax, don't you worry. So interest, dividends, rents, royalties, including remuneration for technical services, salaries, wages, premiums sa pagkalawig-lawig, no? Determining income can be received by foreign jurisdictional sources within the Philippines shall not be treated as branch profits unless the same are effectively connected with the conduct of its trade or business in the Philippines. So for passive income, interest and currency bank deposit, that's 20%. Royalties is 20%. Kagahud sa manok. Then interest income derived by resident foreign corporation from a depository bank under EFCDS, that's 7.5%. Amo ni sang ex mo to kagina. Oh, si 7.5. No, same as sa domestic. Duha na to sila, no? Si resident foreign corporation kag si domestic corporation. Amo na to sang si ex mo. So duha ng ex mo. Then dividends received by a resident foreign corporation from a domestic corporation, that's exempt. Same as domestic. So dividends received by resident foreign corporation from domestic corporation is exempt. Okay. So passive income shall include income derived from sources within the Philippines. Then atong si 10% mo, tusang sa drawing, no? Income derived by depository bank under EFCDS from foreign currency transactions with local commercial banks and interest income from foreign currency loans granted by such depository banks under said EFCDS to residents are subject to final tax at the rate of 10%. Okay? Okay. So for capital gains, same as the domestic corporation, no, 100 or not over 100%, it's 5%, and any amount in excess of 100%, 100,000, it's 10%. Gain from sale of shares of stock not traded in the stock exchange. So special rules for special corporations. So if si domestic corporations, may special corporations man, there are also special corporations that are resident foreign corporations. So who are these special corporations? These are the international carrier doing business in the Philippines. Tax base is gross Philippine billings. Rate is 2.5%. Then taxpayer who are regional or area headquarters of multinational companies. Tax, why is it exempt? Tax base is exempt. Rate is exempt. Then regional operating headquarters of multinational companies. I will check if it is truly exempt. Oops. Okay, class ah. Why exempt? Yeah, tax base is exempt. Wait lang yung class. So na ano ko. Kasi bigla na mata-mata lang ko kagina sa aga. Tax on individuals. States and trust. Nara na naman ako. Hinabdos, nagpa-sound na naman. Sorry, git sa gahod class ta. Oh, yes, it's exempt. Okay, the income, the business in the Philippines. Okay. So wala ta nag-tax sa regional or area headquarters of multinational companies, but sa ROHQs of multinational companies, it's taxable, no, with the rate of 10% based on taxable income. Okay, so we're done with special rules for special corporations that are resident foreign corporation. Let's go to non-resident foreign corporation and applicable income taxes. So for taxable income, so interest, dividends, rents, royalties, salaries, premiums, except for insurance premiums, annuities, emoluments, or other fixed or determinable annual, periodic, or casual gains, profits, income, and capital gains, except gains subject to CGT. Tax base is gross income, tax rate is 30%. Okay? So they are non-resident. Wala na di sila yan. Di magid nga, wala nagatinir, no? They are non-resident and they are foreign. So, tsakto man nga taas ang ila rate, no? Kay para ma-discourage sila nga mag-put up na gid sang business di sa Philippines fully, no? Kay mahalin ang sariling atin, no? Para to give chance man to our domestic corporations to operate man for Filipinos. So that is why the rate is very high, 30%, and it is based on their gross income, no, from all of their receipts, except capital gains subject to capital gain tax. Okay? For passive income, interest on foreign loans, that's 20%, and dividends received from domestic corporations, may rate na tadiya, 15%. No? Dividends received from from domestic corporation by non-resident foreign corporation, subject to 15%. Okay, so for capital gains, still the same. Capital gain from sale of shares of stock not traded in the stock exchange, not over 100,000, subject to 5%. On any amount in excess of 100,000 is 10%. Take note that it's capital gain from sale. Okay. So special rules for special corporations. So may special corporations man si non-resident foreign corporation. They are non-resident cinematographic film owner, lessor, or distributor. Tax base is gross income. Rate is 25%. Then non-resident owner or lessor of vessels chartered by Philippine nationals. That's tax base of gross rental, lease, or charter fees. Miss, ano isang charter fees? Ang ginbayad na balahaw, charter, ano na siya. To kare, ginrentahan nyo. Ano, naghulam ka mo sang salakyan, no? Vessel. Then bayaran, charter fees nang ginabayad. No? Rate is 4.5. Then non-resident owner, lessor of aircraft, machineries, and other equipment. That would their tax base would be gross rental or fees. Rate is 7.5%. Damo rates, no? So take note of the rates. Then if you want to hindi ka malipat, pilit nyo das dingding nyo. Basta exam, tabunan nyo lang na you know, I hate cheaters, balaklas. I really hate cheaters. So basta. Then we have here exercises. So exercise na danay class. No, kinanglatag the exercise napakutiga poko napakog klase man. Anyway, so we have a corporation in its first year of operations had the following data. So gross income from the Philippines is 400, expenses 200. Gross income from outside the Philippines is 300, expenses of 200. So taxable income if a domestic corporation and the data are on the business is, so pilaya taxable income if the corporation is non-resident corporation. Oh, same lang. It's non-resident, it's resident foreign. And the income expenses are on an isolated transaction. The taxable income is, wait lang, though non-resident, it's resident. See, okay. Okay. Sorry class. Tuyo lang. So if the taxpayer is a resident foreign corporation and the income and expenses are on an isolated transaction, the taxable income is. And if the taxpayer is non-resident foreign corporation and the income and expenses are on an isolated transaction, the taxable income is. First, if the corporation is domestic, pilaya taxable income. So taxable income is within and without its income worldwide. That would be income from Philippines and foreign. So net income from the Philippines is 400 less 200, that's 200. Then foreign, it's 300 less 200, that's 100. So 200 plus 100, it's 300,000. Okay. Then if the taxpayer is resident foreign corporation and the income and expenses are on an isolated transaction, the taxable income is. So that's only within the Philippines. So 400 less 200 is 200,000. Take note of the answers. 100. Number 1 is 300,000. Number 2 is 200,000. So if the taxpayer is non-resident foreign corporation and the income and expenses are on an isolated transaction, the taxable income is its gross income. So that's 400,000. So 1 is 300,000, number 2 is 200,000, number 3 is 400,000. So if you check, okay, correct. Wala, nasabat. Nasabat ang tawag, may nagtawag sa ako. Sorry. So during 2018, so next example, okay, business ang natabunan. So during 2018, McDo Incorporated, branch of a foreign company doing business in the Philippines, okay, had the following income and expense. So McDo is a branch of a foreign company doing business in the Philippines. So it's a resident foreign corp. Okay, ammonia transactions, gross income, that's business within the Philippines. It's 80 million. Expenses within is 30 million. Taxable income is 50 million. So income tax is 50 times 30%, it's 15 million. So what? Net income after tax, why? What? 30 million, it's 45 million. Okay, nga nag 30 million ini. Wow, 15. Kigang ko kining nag-type mong. Okay, during the year, the branch received a dividend of 5 million. Excuse me, class. Okay. Wala ko mong sino nagsulod. Okay, aris ako. Oh. Okay, so, ano ta danay, ano gani man. Inang pasayod. Alipay lang ko kay tatlo gid ka videos na bro ako sining adlaw. Okay, so muni sa ho. Ang gasulod nanuktok sa kwarto masulod gid kay madugsing. Okay, go brap ako. So during the year, the branch received a dividend of 5 million from SMC, a domestic corporation. So the following year, it earmarked for remittance to the head office of the dividend of 5 million and 20 million of its net income after tax the previous year. So the branch profit remittance tax is, so 20 million net income times 15%, it's 3 million. Okay? So ang iyang gin-remit is 20 million. No, not the dividend. No, it's the 20 million of its net income after tax of the previous year. Na siyang iyang remit. Okay, ang 5 million is, since it is a resident foreign corp, it's exempt. It's a dividend from domestic corp. No? Subject to 5 million dividend. It's passive. It's a passive income. If you want to check, no? So, ang aton branch profit remittance tax, so it's 20 million times 15%, it's 3 million. Okay, that ends our topic for tax on corporations class. Please practice solving sa inyo reviewers. Please, I cannot place that all sa aton presentation. Diba si tanta bilog nga adlaw. I have so much to do for today. No, may prepare pa ko sa auditing, may mo pa ko sa government accounting, sa managerial economics, no, may principles of accounting pa ko, ara na kami sa accounting equation, no. So, napagid, may checking pa ko sa senior high, soft copy class. Nako na lang gid. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you. Halong kamo.